In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how nonprofits can go from getting no new donors to tripling their donor reach, engagement, and revenue in the next 12 months or less through our nonprofit strategy blueprint. My name is John Oney, and I am the CEO of Creative Studio Productions. I've worked with the nonprofit world for more than 18 years, and every nonprofit struggles with the same thing, and that is, how can they increase their donations? I can tell you what worked 10, 20, 30 years ago is not what is working today. For instance, one of our clients, Mission E4, struggled to get new donors. They had a sponsorship system set up for their donations, but it was running dry. After implementing our blueprint strategy, Mission E4 has gotten multiple corporate sponsorships and was even invited to a meeting in Florida where businesses from all over the country came together to support their mission. This doesn't just work for Mission E4, it also worked for so many of our other clients. Just take a look at our reviews. If you're trying to get more donors using the same old traditional marketing methods you've always used, you won't make any progress. Your staff will end up leaving, overwhelmed, burnt out, and you'll continue to go down a path with no new donations. Something we'd always hear in the nonprofit world was, "This is how we've always done it." And I've got news for you, because just because you've done something a certain way doesn't mean you should keep doing it that way, especially if you expect different results. If you face difficulties keeping donors engaged, I'm going to show you our exact solution we use for so many of our nonprofit clients. Because there is a way for you to keep donors engaged without feeling like you're flushing your money down the toilet. It used to be that donors would receive letters from nonprofits in the mail once a year, or a newsletter once a month, or even quarterly reports. This simply doesn't work anymore. If you struggle to communicate your impacts and outcomes in a way that's engaging, refreshing, and inspiring, then this system is for you. Maybe you've been trying to increase your donations. Maybe you have just been squeaking by for years. Maybe you and your staff have been ready to call it quits because the effort doesn't seem worth it anymore. Maybe some of your staff have quit and your nonprofit has become somewhat of a revolving door for new staff. Maybe you've tried campaigns and really put your all into them, but it did not yield the results you wanted them to. Maybe you're scared and disillusioned with the nonprofit space because it's just not what it used to be. You had dreams, goals, you're doing good work. You just wanted to have a greater impact. Listen, I've been there. Having been in the nonprofit world, I know what it's like to have the money you've invested into campaigns fail, and that awkward conversation of having to let staff go because the money just isn't there anymore. I spent years writing grants, seeking funding, and using techniques I was taught by my mentors. And what worked for them just wasn't working for me. I felt disillusioned and defeated. Maybe you've struggled with some of those same issues and even some of those same feelings. But I've got news for you. Just because that's where you're at right now doesn't mean that is where you will always be. But there's a hard truth you have to come to terms with, and I need you to hear this. If your nonprofit isn't growing in funding, reach, or engagement, that responsibility lies with you. It's up to you to make the change and do something about it. Don't let this truth cripple you. Let it inspire you to change, because I believe that this world is a better place with your nonprofit in it. If your nonprofit isn't getting donor engagement, it's because you aren't speaking into your donors' interests. If your nonprofit isn't getting new donors, it's because you haven't studied your donors to get to know what their preferences are. If you aren't reaching new donors, it's because you don't know how to communicate your impact in a way that is compelling and speaks to the heart of your donors. And the list could go on. So if any of that resonates with you and you're trying to expand and grow your nonprofit, then you're in the right place. I've worked alongside nonprofits for my entire adult life, and I understand how the nonprofit space works. For instance, many people don't understand how difficult it is to run a nonprofit. There are so many internal problems like staff shortages and keeping up with policy requirements, making sure you keep your 4-star transparency score, finding new donations, and the list could go on. This means a lot of the time, nonprofit executives are unable to focus on their outreach and growth because they're too busy. Maybe you've even tried to outsource to other companies to help you reach a bunch of new donors and they have just failed. Don't blame yourself, because a lot of these companies use generic and broad marketing strategies and only focus on getting paid, not caring about your mission. So if you're still using the same old strategies such as newsletters, email campaigns, and mailers to get more donors, it's not your fault, because you haven't had the time or the resources to come up with new approaches. When we first started, we only focused on using websites, videos, and graphics to help tell the stories of nonprofit organizations. And although storytelling is part of the equation, the other part is knowing how those stories will be seen by your donors. One nonprofit came to us asking us to help with advertising for their annual event. It was a medium-sized nonprofit, but we were eager to help. We took the same steps with them that we do with all our nonprofit clients, giving them a free strategy blueprint. We looked at their top 20% of donors to see what made them tick. We looked at their region to find like-minded individuals that lived around their event. And we began thinking about the best ways to reach them. The nonprofit initially wanted to increase their event size by about 2,000 people. Their normal attendance was about 3,500 people. If they got 2,000 more people, they would have a decent batch of potential new donors. We went to work crafting our stories and putting our strategy together. We went even further, crafting websites, videos, radio ads, billboards, and used the terminology of their donors. We did this to attract others who held the same values as they did. In the end, after using our proven nonprofit strategy blueprint, they had over 7,500 people show up to their event. That's almost doubling what they thought was possible. This brought in new donations, relationships, and a host of excitement for the organization. All the success of that nonprofit was because of our nonprofit blueprint strategy. And here's how you can take your nonprofit from barely making ends meet to becoming a thriving hub for donations. The first step is to ditch sending those cold emails to a bunch of people just asking if they'd like to donate. Instead, make a list of your top 20% of donors who really give about 80% of the profit. Go into your donation tracking software and see who they are. Ask questions like, what are their interests? What kind of hobbies do they have? What do they do for a living? What is their household income? Are they married? Do they have kids? Are they grandparents or parents? Where do they get their information from? Is it a news site, podcast, from reading? Then study their vernacular. Get to know what terms they use. How do they talk? You can get a good sense of this by stalking them on social media. And yes, I said stalk them on social media. Find out what type of groups they're a part of. Look at Quora and Reddit and see if there's any valuable insights. The next step is to study the competition. Are there others in your area doing the same type of nonprofit work? How are they receiving funding? Look at their website, sign up for their communication. Take time to get to know them. Then look at the donors you've had over the years. The goal is to move one-time donors to reoccurring donors and reoccurring donors to legacy donors. But in order to do this, you need to understand the hopes and dreams of one-time donors and the reoccurring donors and the legacy donors and how it relates to your mission. What are some of the barriers that are keeping them from giving? What challenges do they face with being able to move to the next level of giving? After those steps, only then can you move on to crafting a message. And your response rate will double or triple because they feel like they know you and that you're speaking their language. When it comes to crafting your message, your donors are the hero of the story. Think about how you can make them feel like the hero. You know their interests and will be able to think about what those interests truly are. We use something called the story-based pyramid when crafting our copy, whether it's for video, a website, or social media. It's really simple. We begin by asking ourselves these 3 questions. What do we want people to feel? What do we want people to know? And what do we want them to do? Oftentimes, we start with the third question. What do we want people to do? We want people to donate to our nonprofit. But we need to start with the other two questions because that will help us craft a story. By beginning with the emotions we want to invoke in people, we lay the foundation of our story-based pyramid. This approach allows us to connect with universal emotions such as compassion, empathy, or joy. When we successfully invoke a powerful emotion that resonates with our target audience, we create a shared experience. The third layer of the pyramid is about setting expectations, which stems from the question, what do we want people to know? For example, if a social media video invokes compassion for children in Haiti and reinforces the belief in good work of a nonprofit, it naturally leads to a desire for knowledge on how to help. Once informed, for instance, that $500 a month can feed an entire classroom, this knowledge creates the expectation of personal contribution. This expectation motivates action, in this case, giving. Thus, by creating this level of understanding and expectation, we arrive at the apex of the pyramid, that people are compelled to give. So just to recap what we've talked about, these three questions form the foundation of the story-based pyramid. It starts with a common feeling, which leads to shared beliefs. These shared beliefs then shape expectations, and these expectations, they ultimately drive action. Once the pyramid is complete and your story crafted, you'll have to make it digestible for social media, your websites, ads, ensuring it's engaging for each specific medium. Finally, after receiving donations, it's crucial to develop donor journeys. This involves creating personal experiences that show your donors the impact of their contributions. For instance, if you donated $500 per month to a classroom, you could receive weekly updates showing how those donations are being used. This approach not only keeps donors informed, but also emotionally connected to your cause that they're supporting. And finally, update your copy strategy. Armed with the best lingo to entice your audience, update your copy. If you don't update your copy and optimize your website with the right lingo and user-friendly features, you risk losing the interest and engagement of your audience. In today's digital age, the way information is presented online is crucial for capturing and retaining attention. Not making your website mobile-friendly and easy to navigate can significantly reduce your reach and effectiveness, as a large portion of web browsing occurs on mobile devices. If your website is difficult to use on a phone or tablet, potential donors may quickly lose interest and leave. Furthermore, neglecting to include engaging elements like video can be a missed opportunity. With 79% of people preferring to watch a video over reading text, not having a video on your site means failing to engage a significant portion of your audience. Videos are not only more engaging, but also help in conveying your message quickly and effectively, which is crucial given that you have only a short window, less than 7 seconds, to capture someone's attention online. Additionally, not having a video can impact your website's search engine rankings. Videos can boost your visibility on search engines like Google by 53 times, making it easier for potential donors to find you. In summary, failing to update your website with engaging, mobile-friendly content and videos means potentially losing out on donor engagement, website traffic, and ultimately the support your cause needs. Like I said, we have a lot of experience with nonprofits, and I saw mission creep, burnout, struggling to make the impact they wanted because the donations just aren't there. And which is why I decided to create our CSP nonprofit blueprint strategy and share it with you so you can grow your nonprofit. This nonprofit blueprint strategy has been honed over many years through marketing courses, hands-on experience in the nonprofit world, and the process of trial and error. By sharing this strategy, I'm offering you a shortcut, bypassing the lengthy learning curve. This is the exact methodology we use for our nonprofit clients, proven to be effective in enhancing donations, engagement, and reach. Each step is meticulously crafted to contribute to the overall success, ensuring a comprehensive approach to increasing donations. The intention behind sharing this system is to empower others in the nonprofit sector with a tried and tested framework. If you're looking for a straightforward way to put our blueprint strategy into action without feeling swamped by everything else that's on your plate, why not book a free strategy call with us? It's a great opportunity valued at $1,000, but we are offering it completely free at no cost to you. On the call, you'll get a chance to chat with one of our experts. It's a chance for us to really get to know your organization, where you've been, where you are now, and where you're hoping to go. We're here to listen and even throw some valuable insights of our own. Once we've got all the details, we'll figure out if the program is a right fit for you. Just a heads up, our calendar for 2024 is filling up fast, and we've only got 8 spots left. So if you're interested, let's get that call scheduled now. Don't let this opportunity to increase your nonprofit revenue pass you by. Book a call right now.